totally unorganized.
Well, it's what happens when they add on consolidate. So it's
Screen them snap.
yeah.
All right, folks, I'll go ahead and call our study session to order. It is 6:30 p.m. If we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk Domingo, take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams. Reed.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Lawler. Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. Our study session is to discuss items that are needing action at our regular council meeting. So first on our agenda is to approve the 2024 MML liability and property pool renewal. Assistant City Manager, were you taking this one?
Yeah, this is just our annual renewal of our insurance for the city. $238,407. And then new vehicles is $4,582. Specific question about it.
So just the vehicles is 4,582.
You that what was added on there.
Because it looks like the itemized, there's vehicles on the itemized, the max total matches the first bill of it.
Right. The December bill for pool endorsement, premiums, and according to the notes I have, that's for.
But the first one states the same thing. They're identical language. That's what I had question about. Why there was two separate ones. With identical language. And same dates.
Right.
Well, one is
Notes that I was given said.
pool renewal premium, the other one's pool endorsement. premium.
I was gonna say, where's your second?
So what's the difference?
First thing you can prove that.
General, I mean, my understanding would be the renewal would be for anything that's existing already. An endorsement for an insurance policy is usually for something new.
That's why I think I said, that's why I didn't find out say vehicles, that's the obligation that was been added over the last year.
Do we know how many vehicles has been added? Because it looks like there's 50 vehicles on the other one.
You remember Jason? Let's say there was. Three three slow vehicles. And then. Four left that we got, there was a few things that we had that we don't endorse that were added on this year. Including the forklift, the four-wheelers that we have, and one of the Rangers that we have. And the retrofit van, right, that was under the umbrella, but because of the especially because of the year, and the same with their that van, they wanted it kind of more so of a bigger policy because of the amount of equipment that's on it. So it's not all those new vehicles. That is that they might have replacement costs, so actually are instead of just the vehicle itself.
Anybody else have any other questions on this item? Nope. Okay. Next, we're going to be asked to approve resolution 2024-22 for the Meshta CDBG chill grant. Is this just to add?
Yeah, this is just changing language so that regardless of what position I'm holding, I can sign some.
Can we be a little more clear on that?
So as of right now, I'm here, I'm assistant city manager. When Haley goes off on FML, we better become acting city manager. And so those are those.
This one is, I don't think we're talking about the same one.
Yeah, that's the second.
This is to authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign stuff for the Mr. CBDG chill.
Right, yeah, I skipped one.
The agenda. Page 18.
So this one is just to allow for myself, for the city clerk to sign, correct?
You and the city clerk would be authorized to sign documents for the Mr. CBDG chill. Yep,
No, well, that's not what I have in notes.
that's literally what the resolution says.
On page 4.
Okay,
It said the bid from the Albion EDC in the amount of $50,000 for grant administrative services approved. And that the mayor and the clerk are authorized to execute any documents related to the agreement on the city's behalf. So we're approving the $50,000 for grant administration services, the EDC, and mayor and clerk are authorized to execute anything
yeah,
that need to
the
be.
credit administration, services, I didn't know that you had said that.
Yep.
So that's what I was referring to, sorry.
Okay, so this one, basically, this is because of the open bids for this. Right. For this resolution, there was open bids for the grant administrator. That's part of the packet.
Right, it's the lowest bidder, how many you see, so we're approving that bids.
The lowest of the three.
Let's bid tabulations on the back.
In the back of page 19.
So we're approving that bid, is what that's for.
Do we have any questions on this item? All right. Next, we're gonna ask to amend. This is one we're probably changing. Yep. We ask to amend the resolution for the chill grant. And that's the language change for the assistant city manager to sign. Do we have any questions on this item?
Was that's the second reading of that? For the vote. Didn't we vote on that last time?
I thought we voted on this before too, but maybe it might have been more wording on the acting city manager. I don't know.
Okay.
So this is we're amending.
Yeah, I thought we did at the last time.
He did it for me to be able to sign for it, but this allows the assistant city manager, the acting city manager, or an interim city manager to sign for it. It doesn't designate a person necessarily.
Gotcha.
The position, so it doesn't have to be me.
Okay.
Whoever that's role.
Is that there where?
Yeah, I was wondering, like I said, I was wondering if it was the second reading, because it was like, well.
Right, and no, I think they redid it again because they wanted to get all of the technology in there.
That's a lot of individuals. Is that right? Is that right? Attorney Hurst,
I'm sorry.
was you listening to? Down there on page 37. Now there be resolved. That was for,
Yeah, so there's 3 separate positions that are authorized to execute documents now for this.
so they were saying, is this the second reading or the first?
It's a resolution. There is only
That's
one
what we're
reading.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions or comments on this item? Okay. Next, we're gonna be asked to approve the first reading of ordinance 2024-02. To amend chapter 34 for community developments for the Maple Grove property. Any Harkness?
So this is a pilot ordinance, which is payment in lieu of tax. This is from Maple Grove. The city already has a few of these in existence for some other properties, but basically for a specified period of time, not to exceed 50 years, the Maple Grove property will pay a service fee to the city instead of paying property taxes. We had some back and forth with the company that's acquiring Maple Grove, and we finally came to an agreement. for a 6% service fee. The extent of the or the duration of the pilot would not exceed 50 years. I'm happy to answer any questions, but this is just kind of moving along with the sale of Maple Grove.
Any questions for Attorney Harkness? All right, moving on. Next, we're going to be asked to approve the EDPS budget amendment for the fire training facility. Deputy Chief Kramer, are you going to speak on this?
Good evening, council. Let me start by backing up a little bit here. After reading this, I didn't word it correctly on this. I'm not asking to approve Carr Brothers right now to do this. What I'm asking for is, we're going forward and I've got like an estimate of the very highest cost it's going to take to do excavation work of what we want to do on this training facility. Because I know that you all have authorized us to buy a lot of heavy equipment. The heavy equipment that's needed to do this excavation is stuff that we don't have, like a bulldozer, so forth. So what I did is I got with both Mr. Caldwell, both Joe and Steve Caldwell, because they've been in the business for a long time. And I said, listen, I think I know how to do the excavation on it, but I'm not an expert. You all are. And so I said, I need the absolute highest price so I can go to the council and say, hey, instead of you guys just giving me $100,000 in a line item adjustment, this is what I want to do. This is the very highest cost it's going to be. Should we go, you know, if that's what it would take, but before we even go down the road, I want to make sure that, one, I kind of explain what we want to do. What's the absolute highest cost it could possibly be? I still got to get bids, still have to have everybody approve this, the sealed bids and everything. And so I just wanted to start getting the idea out there and show you what our plans are. So I'm sorry if I confused people. I know Councilman Williams got a hold of the chief and he's like, hey, you think I could have worded this a little bit better? And I started reading, I was like, I thought I made my thoughts clear. And I was like, well, maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. So I just want to put everybody at ease. That's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking to approve this bid. This is really, I just needed something in writing. So you kind of had an idea.
Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Cause I wanted to say, well, they denying something.
no. So like I said, I'm still gonna get bids from the excavators that we deal with. Carr Brothers will be one of them, but like I said, we deal with Carr Brothers on a lot of the heavy duty workload that we have to have them do, like demolition of houses. So I was like, listen, and also Joe is a firefighter with Sheridan Township, so he understands what we're going to be doing. And so I wanted another opinion from another firefighter who's been in the business a long time.
When I read it, I know the gentleman, they used to be my students.
Oh.
And so they've been in the business a long time, so, and it's a local company, so I didn't have questions because they are local and have done a lot of work, so.
Mayor Pro Tem Jackie.
Yes, thank you. So I was gonna ask that question, no more than because they are local, just to make sure it was getting a couple bids like we're following.
I still have to bring everything to
Yes.
you all.
Cause I don't believe we've been doing some of them, but let's go forward to make sure we got the.
Yeah,
the three
no, I-
so we have that.
Whenever I'm gonna bring you 3 bids,
Right.
I just kind of want to give you an idea of, instead of just me giving you a number,
Mm-hmm.
not having any real proof of kind of some meat and potatoes to it. I wanted you to kind of see what the absolute highest end could be.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
That's in here.
Councilman French.
Where is this facility gonna be?
So right next to Harris Field, we have that training building that we have right now.
Mhm.
It's gonna be on the north side of it. It's a vacant lot that actually was sat down. And so the grade level was quite low. So I thought we could bring some dirt in and everything. And those guys quickly said, nah, you can't bring a bunch of clay in because the water's just gonna slide off. You gotta bring sand, you gotta have rock, you gotta do all this other stuff. So I was like, okay. So that's gonna go around the north side.
How close to the river is that?
So You gotta go up the hill a little bit, and then it'll go down probably another 75 to 100 yards. Or it's into the river. But we're below the river, because what we did is we went out there with a transit and shot grade.
Yeah.
And we're still, even when we raise it up, we're still below the entire area that's in front of us. So nothing will run in there. And we're not spraying any PFAS, that foam, not doing anything like that, it's just water.
Councilman Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, so I also asked, Chief Kip, Assistant City Manager Kip, about engineering. And if we were consulting with engineering on there, being that, you know, we have the water usage, we have to worry about and factor in drainage. The river is close by, so we gotta make sure that, none of the potential site contaminants make their way down to the river or into, the groundwater as well. So as a safety concern, both environmentally and people safety, are we looking at reaching out to Whiteman and Associates or
Next
any other
week.
engineer?
Next week, Mickey's gone this week, in Minnesota, so I emailed him after I saw 2 questions, I was like. Yep, I'll make sure I check that off as well.
Okay.
So as long as I've been chief, and probably before that, we've been looking at trying to get a fire training facility in this area. I know Albion Township put in for grant money for it before, Sheridan has tried to do it, no one's can get the grant money for it. Usually these constructed, if we were to purchase this, it's like $250,000 or more.
I got with Lansing, Delta Township has one. And so they spent $200,000 on theirs. And so I asked them, what was the biggest cost? They didn't do any work themselves. We've already done a lot of the work. We're getting the containers ourselves. They hired a contractor to do everything. So they basically just signed the bills and then building was done. So we're doing everything ourselves along with the street department and the guys at public safety. So we're saving a lot of the costs just by doing it everything ourselves. That's where I think about $100,000-ish is what we're looking at.
And so, I mean, the need for this is tremendous around here, especially for our department. We have very few, because we have so many young officers, we have very few people with fire experience at all, let alone live burn experience, and you just don't get it unless you go into a house that's on fire. We don't have that many house fires where that happens, so thank goodness, but we do have a severe need for this in this area. Even the fire academy, they go, you don't do live burns because you just can't do that anymore. You can't take an old vacant house and start it like we used to. So we're not getting the experience that the young writers need. And this would sort of a tremendous need in this area.
Yeah, you mentioned the rate of return in terms of trainings by other facilities or other municipalities. What kind of rate of return are we talking?
So I got with our insurance company, I had the risk assessor come out and actually look at the site. And he is a retired firefighter from Jackson City. And that's where I kind of got some of the ideas as well, because it's like, there's nothing around it like this in the tri-state area that you'll have. You combine it with everything you guys have here. So what I did is I went to the fire chiefs meeting and for Calhoun County and found out they get $26,000 a year to run the fire academy every year from the state. And then they're looking to partner with KCC or the Career Center to get younger firefighters involved. And I started seeing how much they charge for certain classes. You can get up to $400 to $500 a class. The difference is that on the police side of things, the state really puts a lot of money into training, a lot of money, like almost triple the amount that they actually put into firefighting. Where if this was a police facility, we could easily make $14,000 is the average for a 25-person class in one day. Firefighting is a little bit different. It's a lot slower. So we could charge $1,000 to $2,000 and have multiple departments send people. But a lot of these departments are paid on call. So they're not full time. So their budgets are very limited. And so you only can charge maybe $180 to $100 per person, get 25 people in and charge some extras for the rental of the place as well. And on top of it, you have to have certified instructors to run it. And that's the other thing we're investing in, is getting our people trained for NFPA and OSHA compliance as well. So I think that we can bring money back in. It's not gonna be a lot right off the bat. I think once the word gets out that we have this, we can start charging some more and reaching out even further.
And marketing it, as a facility
Yes,
can be used throughout.
because we can put it online with the state training,
Mhm.
or state training, so.
And the state is starting to mandate more and more training for local police and fire being the newer one that's coming out that. We've never had mandated training before on the fire side and now we have certain requirements that we have to meet every year. So I'll help us with that as well.
Gotcha.
How quickly are you looking to be able to turn this around and have it built by?
I'd like to start, once I get all the bids and like engineering and everyone signs off, I would like to start soon. If I could have it up and running before the snow flies, that'd be great. But I also have to kind of do it right. So it's gonna take a little bit to get everything. Where we're getting the shipping containers from is out of Wisconsin. It's a retired firefighter that sells these to these companies that build them professionally out of shipping containers. So I kind of been getting plans and everything from him. And some online as well. So. Fall. Late fall.
Hoping.
Hoping.
Councilman Williams?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I know it was mentioned that we were going to build it in-house. Now in-house as opposed to contracting it out, do we have the licensed staff to meet the certification code that we'll have to in order to build this type of building?
So the biggest thing is you have to have OSHA compliance for like the railings and the staircase. We plan on reaching out to like Aaron Zick, because he's a professional welder, to have him do some of the welding on it. It's not so much a licensed. There's really no license per se, other than it just has to meet code. So the welds all have to hold and they have to meet the OSHA compliance for the guardrail or the railing if we do go up on top. Same with the staircase, it has to be bolted in or welded in. So we have the tools to do it. As far as the certifications, there's not really it's not like a licensed contractor, like a home builder, because it's not a stick built home. It's literally just boxes that are stacked together, bolted together, holes cut in them with staircases, put in metal staircases.
Okay, you said you mentioned, you discussed this with the insurance company, will this be covered in the insurance as well?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
They'll have to do waivers. Every department will have to do waivers saying that they're responsible covered by their own department's insurance. The biggest thing the insurance company said, you have to have certified instructors. Where departments run into it is where they just do this and they don't have people that have been through the live fire training. And so that's what we're working on doing as well.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
So Director Clark, I appreciate the printout, but even with my Peters, I can't make this out. So was this in,
Yeah, I'll just be a minute. Thank you, everybody. Jason stuck his head in my office a couple days ago. And usually that means he wants to do a project or he wants to talk about money. So he came in my office and he wanted to, excuse me, check and see based on what Chief Kip said, they're shy a couple police officers for 2024. And so their budget is a little, or their actual expenses are a little bit lower than what's budgeted. So what I did is I put together, so he asked me, he said, is there gonna be room? Kip wanted to check with me. Is there gonna be room for about $100,000 separate line item? Because the actual expenses are a little lower than what we thought because of the two police officers that weren't hired yet, but were budgeted for. They wanted to check and see if there was gonna be room there. So I took a peek and what I put together here real quickly was, this is a printout of just the public safety department within the general fund. And it's basically about 5.75 months. It's not quite 6 months yet, because of course we're not done with June yet. And so what I did was I I took a look and, if you look at the bottom, I kind of showed where we're at through 5.75 months of the total budget. And if you look all the way down to the right at the bottom, it's 35.47%. And normally that should be about 46%. So the expenses, or the loss so far is 930,000 compared to 2.624 for the year. And then, I wanted to take it a little bit further, in that budget, if you look at the second or, the vehicles account way down to the bottom in the middle, there's a figure of 648,125. Part of that is for the new fire truck, which was 569,000. We budgeted for 570,000 for that. And then we also had a grant that we're gonna receive up top. I put that in green for $499,390. So I took those out of the budget. That's approximately about 70,000 when you net both of them together. And I showed what our loss was, actual expenses without the fire truck for 5.75 months of the year compared to what the budget would show without the fire truck. And we're even lower with 33.72%. So my job was to see if there's room for $100,000. And based on this, there's definitely room for $100,000. So.
A couple other things on this as well. If you look at the third line from the top there, there's $172,491. That wasn't accounted for in the budget that came in this year. So in 2022, I think it was, we got a state grant for hiring new officers, $120,000. And I didn't account for that because I didn't realize they hadn't got it yet, but they finally paid it this year. And so that wasn't accounted for in the budget. So there's an extra 170 there. Additionally, every year we've been paying $140,000 to dispatch, and I did not realize that that was going down to $40,000 this year because of the millage that was passed for dispatch. And so our dispatch costs now are only $40,000, so there was an extra $100,000 budgeted for dispatch as well, on top of the officers that we don't have. So we've spent a little extra money in some areas already, but we still have a lot of money coming in that we didn't really account for this year. So.
Yeah.
All right, so given the time, I need to ask for public comment. We can definitely discuss more at a regular council, so thank you for this.
You're welcome.
Which will have more questions. But I do want to give time to anybody that's in the gallery that would like to stand in our council.
Madam Mayor, council members. Been a while since I've done this. Chief Kip, or however many times we have now, I don't know quite where we're at here. Clerk Domingo, Attorney Harkness, certainly congratulations to your son too as well, absolutely. And most of you know who I am, I'm Gary Tompkins. I'm a candidate for your, hopefully, to be your next county commissioner in the 7th district. For those Albion residents who may not know who I am, certainly I've former 3-term county commissioner for this district, certainly, was also vice chair and also was the parliamentarian for the county commission. 6th generation 7th district resident. My family settled in Albion in 1860, and we've been on the eastern side of County ever since. So a lot of generations there. So I'm a financial analyst by day. I'm a husband, dad, father, grandfather, and volunteer coach, and every other thing you could imagine by night. Certainly, as we move forward, folks, I'm not going to take much of your time because I know you're limited. It is great to be back with you. You guys, most of you are very much aware of the work that I did with seniors, with veterans. Certainly always had the best interests of the city of Albion at hand in my heart. My dad, as most of you know, passed away in 2022. He was a graduate of Albion, and I live for him every day. Still miss him to this day. But I just want you to know I'm so humbled to have your support. Certainly, not only August 6th, but in November, we'll continue to make sure that Albion, the city of Albion, the residents of the city of Albion have a voice again, a very strong voice, so that you make sure that you folks have that table at the county level. So with that being said, again, it's great to see all of you again. And I look forward to being able to work for you very soon again. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Well, it's that. The dreams you do.
Hello, everyone. My name is Margaret Avery. I am the new grant writer project analyst for the EDC in Albion. I think I've met some of you in passing, so hello again, or email introduction, but Virgie couldn't be here today because she's on vacation, so I'm just here to kind of talk about, I saw the chill grant was on the agenda for today, so I'm here if there's any questions or any clarifying needs. And I guess if you need me for anything, I will be in the gallery, but that is all. Thank you very much.
Mary Slater, 803 South Superior. I just want to say huge thank you to the city for the support of the Art Under the Tower. And I want to especially give a shout out to the Parks Department. That park was spick and span clean, not only in preparation, but the night before the event, as I understand, there were people doing fireworks in that park and in the parking lot of the Apostolic Church, and they left all of the debris. And the Parks Department came back again, cleaned that all up and moved. And James was there. I talked to him. He said, if there's anything else I can do, just call me. Well, I wasn't real happy with the way the picnic tables were. They were too far away. I said, are you still on duty? He said, oh, yes. I said, well, do you think you could move these tables? He came over with his truck. 5 minutes, you get the right tool. It goes very quickly. And the police department too did extra rounds to make sure everything was okay. I did have a private security guard, but I know Scott arranged for driving around, but just great thanks to the city for the support. And I hope we can do it again next year.
Thanks.
Oh, maybe there are questions. Are there any questions?
Would anybody else like to stand and address council? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Study session adjourned 7:02 PM. All right, we were right in.